I'm Robin Murdoch, live along the Detroit River Walk, where, as you can see, this massive ship behind me remains stuck for the second day in the Detroit River. We'll have the very latest on the effort to free that freighter in my live report. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, Robin. Also this morning, and this is pretty incredible, a group of people catching a child who was forced to jump from a window to escape her burning home. More of the story behind this dramatic rescue just ahead. Brandon?
Also, you may have seen this video on social media, a bizarre joyride caught on camera in Ann Arbor. And while chasing a forklift is already an odd night for police, the big surprise was who they found behind the wheel.
And also new this morning, it has taken 5 years, but there are new developments in the legal fight over the Queen of Soul's estate. Coming up, what we're learning about how Aretha Franklin's personal property and musical legacy are being divvied up.
Working for you. Fox 2 News Live at 11 starts now.
Hopefully this can bring some closure to that ongoing drama.
Yes.
We're going to have more on that in just a few. But first, good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Brandon Hudson.
And I'm Amy Lange. And we are beginning once again with this freighter. Efforts underway this morning to refloat that massive tanker that got stuck in the Detroit River.
So we brought this to you as breaking news yesterday. This morning, there's another attempt to set it free. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch is live with the latest. Robin, the weather's nicer, so maybe there's hopefully an easier go about it.
Yeah, you know, they are hoping to get this stuck freighter moved as quickly as possible, but the plan has been delayed once again. And I'm going to step out of the way, Brandon and Amy, so we can give you a lay of the land, or the lay of the water, so to speak. At first, crews thought it would be 2 tugboats to free this freighter, that is all it would take. Now they are waiting on a third to get here to the Detroit River to get this barge to budge.
We've been doing it every day, probably 6-7 years now. Second year in the wintertime, though.
Paul Yoldu and his walking partner, Teresa, never know what they'll see on their stroll along the Detroit River Walk. On Monday, it was the 623-foot freighter that had run aground. More than 24 hours later, it's still there.
It's unbelievable how huge this thing is. Just when we were driving up, you could see it was massive, but when you're standing here, it is unbelievable. It's crazy.
The Barbaro G, carrying 21,000 tons of wheat from Canada, was on its way to Italy when it got stuck close to the city's carousel around 7:30 yesterday morning. An issue with its bow thrusters, which helped push the Portuguese ship through the water, likely part of the problem.
Once the Barbaro G is refloated and back in the anchorage, there will be a third-party assessment due to the vessel being foreign flagged. After that assessment, Coast Guard investigators will go on board to determine the exact cause.
We are told it'll take 3 tugboats to free the gigantic freighter. The assessment necessary to determine whether there was any damage to the vessel and if it can continue on its voyage. No injuries were reported, and there does not appear to be any environmental concerns.
Yeah, it is crazy. And it's going to Italy, which I didn't even know could be done. That's pretty crazy.
The site drawing people both near and far to Detroit's riverfront to watch as the Coast Guard works to get the ship moving. This is actually the second time a freighter has run aground in this area since May. The last time it took some 4 hours to get it sailing again.
It's just amazing to see something like this.
So right now there is no time frame on when this freighter will be freed. A lot, of course, depends on when that third tugboat can get here. And the Coast Guard does tell me that the goal here is to get it refloated safely, and that the important thing is that nobody was hurt, that there is no pollution, and that the shipping lane was not impacted. We are live here along the Detroit riverfront. I'm Robin Murdoch for Fox 2 News.
And Robin, you mentioned in your story there that this is the second time this has happened, and this is not anything that is common, but is there any connection about or is there any, question of a possibility of a connection or an explanation why this is continuing to happen?
You know, Brandon, that is something that they are looking into. The Coast Guard tells me that it does not appear that this is connected in any way, but that a survey will be done to try and figure out whether perhaps the Detroit River needs to be dredged, whether it needs a little bit more dredging. So certainly a lot more to come with that, and a lot more to come with the situation concerning the stuck freighter right behind me. We'll, of course, update you on air as well as online throughout the day. Back to you, Brandon.
Rob, we do appreciate it. Hopefully the 3 tugboats will be the charm. Have a good one. Amy.
Well, this next story, bystanders actually catching children jumping out of a burning apartment building. The fire deliberately set.
So the police think that the suspect has done this before. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack has a story behind this amazing video that puts into perspective what people will do to escape danger.
Neighbors clustered together, a mattress at their feet, looking up 5 stories to an 8-year-old girl you're about to see jump for her life. She hurls herself out the window, caught, not a scratch on her. Still trapped above, her 14-year-old sister and mom, fire blocking their only exit, the door. The window is the only option. The 8-year-old piling up clothes on the mattress to try and cushion her family's falls. Her sister comes down next in a panic, hitting the mattress hard, breaking both ankles and her wrist. Other injuries too, but she lived.
Many times people who try to jump out windows that high, it's a different outcome.
Detroit Fire Commissioner Charles Sims says it was all caught by green light cameras positioned outside their apartment building in the New Center neighborhood in Detroit earlier this month. Inside, security cameras capturing the sinister side to this story. 43-year-old Marion Scruggs allegedly dousing the outside of the woman and her daughter's door with gasoline, lighting a cigarette, then using it to set it all on fire. Scruggs apparently used to be in a relationship with the woman.
This person tried to kill not just the whole family, but any and everybody that was in that building.
But what happened outside is what they're focused on. The neighbors catching that little girl. This man ripping off his own sweatshirt to keep the 14-year-old warm, then carrying her to safety. The Detroit firefighters who used their ladder to save mom. And Detroit police catching Scruggs within 24 hours after he lit this cigarette.
And here's a living example of those 3 coming together and saving the lives of people who were victimized by domestic violence.
Scruggs has a history of domestic violence. We learned back in 2019 he was charged for lighting a girlfriend's home on fire purposely to trap her dogs inside. One of them died. Unclear if it's the same victim this time. Commissioner Sims says for these folks, instinct kicked in out here, saying most people do want to do good.
You know, some people don't need the attention or the accolades, but we want to show them that not only are firefighters, EMTs, and police officers are heroes, but even citizens out there in the neighborhood, they're heroes as well.
The Good Samaritans that stepped in, they did their good deeds, and then they walked off, let Detroit Fire handle it from there. The fire commissioner and Detroit's police chief want to recognize those folks that help. If you are one of them or know who did, they're asking them to come forward. Reporting on Detroit's West Side, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Thank goodness for the kindness of neighbors, and we're glad that that family is okay. Well, from one bizarre video to another, police in Ann Arbor chased down a suspect in a stolen vehicle. This one's a lot stranger than your typical pursuit. I want you to take a look.
Pull over. Pull over now.
So that is police talking to someone, a driver, in a stolen forklift. And I want you to listen to this. That driver was a 12-year-old boy. The chase dragged on and on. The boy stole the forklift from outside Forsyth Middle School. The driver went slowly but hit 10 vehicles along the way. He also drove over curbs. The tires on the vehicle were so thick that stop sticks were useless. Eventually, after an hour-long chase, police were able to get him to stop, and they arrested him. And we were working to learn more about a man who was discovered dead in the ventilation system at Macomb Community College. He has been identified as 36-year-old Jason Thompson. The Clinton Township man went missing more than a month ago. Police responded to reports of a foul smell at the Macomb Center for the Performing Arts in Clinton Township. His death is not suspicious, but there are still plenty of questions, including the man's connection to the campus and how his body ended up in the ventilation.
Well, Detroit police need your help to find 2 suspects wanted for murdering a man in Detroit. So take a look. The shooting back on August 4th. According to police, a woman and at least 1 man were involved in the murder at Jeffersonian Apartments. The victim, Eric Rex, found dead in the hallway. There's a $2,500 reward for information leading to an arrest. Please call 1-800-SPEAK-UP. And another story you saw breaking yesterday morning, a car crashing into the Fillmore in downtown Detroit. As of now, the entertainment venue says a country music concert will go on as planned. A woman was arrested at the scene shortly after that crash. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
There are new developments in a 5-year battle over the estate of the late Queen of Soul.
According to the Detroit News, an Oakland County probate judge has determined who will get 3 of Aretha Franklin's 4 homes, her money, and other assets. Franklin died in 2018 from pancreatic cancer without a formal will. So that set off a legal battle between 3 of her 4 sons, some with handwritten documents. Yesterday, a judge ruled Aretha's homes in Detroit, Bloomfield Hills, and Bloomfield Township will be given separately to 3 of the sons. The rest of Franklin's belongings will be divvied up among her family by the conservator of Franklin's estate. 3 of the sons will also share income from music and copyrights and must provide support for her oldest son, Clarence, who lives under guardianship. In July, you might remember, a jury decided that a handwritten will from 2014 that was found under a couch cushions was valid. And yesterday, a judge ruled that document revoked previous paperwork found in 2010 in Aretha's home.